The tale of Marco Doppio, the two-headed referee. Once upon a time, in a small coastal village in Italy, a boy named Marco Doppio was born into a world that could not yet understand him. From the moment he opened his eyes, it was clear he was no ordinary child. Marco was born with two heads, one perched on either side of his shoulders. Two sets of eyes blinked in unison, and two voices could sing in harmony or squabble over a single toy. While many saw Marco's unique condition as a source of curiosity, others saw it as a flaw. As he grew, Marco faced the kind of prejudice that would crush most spirits. Children teased him, calling him two-faced, a freak, or worse. Adults whispered behind his back, afraid of the oddity of his appearance, often crossing the street when they saw him walking. But Marco was not one to dwell on negativity. Instead of retreating, he decided to turn his difference into his strength. One of Marco's greatest passions was soccer. His father, a former professional footballer, would often take him to watch matches. Marco, despite the teasing, loved the beautiful game. He played as a child, but his true calling wasn't as a player, it was as a referee. Soccer's rules and nuances fascinated him, and he knew, even at a young age, that he wanted to become a referee. But he also knew he would need to prove himself in ways others could not. The beginning of his journey. At 16, Marco started refereeing local youth matches. His two heads, initially seen as a curiosity, became an asset. Each head could scan half of the field, giving him an unrivaled ability to detect fouls, offside positions, and violations, while the other referees had to turn their heads, often losing sight of the game in the process. Marco could simply swivel one head while keeping the other focused. In the beginning, however, it wasn't his remarkable vision that brought him attention, it was his ability to stay calm under pressure. Even in the most heated moments, when players surrounded him, shouting in anger, Marco's two heads would remain composed. His calmness and fairness won the respect of both players and coaches, who began to realize that his unique anatomy was not a hindrance, but a skill. Overcoming the hurdles, as Marco rose through the ranks, from local matches to semi-professional leagues, he faced even more prejudice. Soccer officials were skeptical of a two-headed man being a credible referee. There were whispers at the federation, doubts about his competence, and questions about how he could possibly fit into the world of elite refereeing. But Marco never let these doubts affect him. He worked harder than anyone else, pouring himself into the rules of the game, understanding every detail, and gaining an intuitive sense of fair play. He would use his heads to scan the field from both directions, one watching the attacking play, the other observing the defenders. This gave him a rare ability to catch moments that others might miss. A subtle foul in the back, a handball in the corner of the field, or a player offside without even realizing it. But it wasn't just his ability to see the field from multiple angles that made him exceptional, it was his empathy. Marco knew what it felt like to be different, to be judged for something beyond his control. His refereeing was fair and understanding, never quick to punish, always seeking the spirit of the game. His decisions were respected, even when they were tough. The road to the top. Years passed, and Marco's reputation spread. He climbed through the ranks, officiating in top Italian leagues, and eventually, international tournaments. But it wasn't until the prestigious UEFA Champions League final in 2022 that Marco's name became known worldwide. The final was one of the most intense matches in history, two legendary clubs clashing in a fiery battle for the European crown. Marco's dual focus gave him the ability to see every moment of the game with absolute precision. Every tackle, every pass, every offside, he caught it all, and his decisions were flawless. Soon, there was no doubt left in anyone's mind. Marco Doppio was one of the best referees in the world. His unique ability, combined with his impeccable judgment, led him to the biggest stage in world soccer, the FIFA World Cup. The World Cup. Marco was selected to officiate the World Cup. The moment was historic not just because Marco was the first two-headed referee to take charge of a World Cup match, but because he had proven that being different didn't mean being less. The tournament was filled with drama, excitement, and high-stakes competition. Marco's presence on the field was an inspiration to millions watching from around the world. With his heads focused in opposite directions, he became a symbol of perspective and fairness. In a pivotal quarter-final match between Brazil and Germany, With both teams pressing for a winner in the dying minutes, Marco's ability to keep an eye on the entire field, both the attack and the defense, became crucial. He spotted an off-the-ball foul that no one else had seen, ensuring the correct decision was made. At the final whistle, Marco was the hero of the tournament. His two heads had not just seen the game better, they had seen it fairly. In a press conference after the final, Marco said, "I don't see two teams, I see one game. Soccer is about balance. My two heads just give me the chance to see more of it, to understand it better. In the end, it's about fairness, integrity, and love for the game." The world embraced Marco not just as a referee, but as a symbol of overcoming adversity. His journey had been long and filled with challenges, but he had emerged victorious. Legacy. He became an ambassador for inclusivity in sports, speaking at conferences, encouraging athletes and officials to embrace their differences, and teaching young referees about fairness, integrity, and perspective. The legacy of the two-headed referee was not just his ability to spot fouls, it was his determination to turn prejudice into power, to show that difference is not a weakness, but a strength. And for the millions who watched him referee, Marco Doppio was more than just a man with two heads. He was a symbol that greatness could come from the most unexpected places.